Bro, what? Huh? Hold on, bro. Hello. Definitely meant to start. Hello, bro. Oh my gosh. Come on, bro. I didn't mean to start yet. Hey, y'all can still hear me, right? Oh my gosh. I didn't even change the title or nothing. Talking about excellent connection. Bro, what was the title gonna be? It was gonna be, Hold on, y'all. I wasn't ready. Hold on, y'all. Bro, come on. Who's responsible for this? Give me a second, bro. I wasn't ready, bro. Oh, there we go. That's what it was. Hold up, y'all. Okay. Give me a second, bro. I know I've been saying that for like the past 5 minutes, but Yikes, bro. I wasn't ready. I hit the button. I'm like, what happened? Give me a second, bro. I gotta set up the thumbnail. I gotta set up everything. Bro, that is not what I want the thumbnail to be. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna hit a like on my own live stream. I don't care. How do I change the Yes, exit the stream, bro. I'm trying to change the thumbnail, bro. Oh my gosh, why? My fault, bro. Why is why is that the thumbnail? I'm gonna have to end it. Oh, no, change it. Right there. Save. Okay, we should be good. Hopefully the thumbnail is gonna change. Hey, y'all tell me, bro, is the thumbnail still a fish? How do I check my chat? Yeah, y'all can tell I'm a live streaming professional. I do this every day. You know, this is my livelihood, bro. This is how I make money. By messing up my live stream setup. So in this video we're gonna be talking about Cardano, and like the title says, we're gonna be comparing the leadership of Cardano, which is Charles Hoskinson. And if you're not familiar with Cardano, it is, well, let me actually show you. Let's go to CoinMarketCap. Let me make sure y'all can actually hear me. With Cardano, it is, okay, you can. So we have all of these. Let me show you. CoinMarketCap. Let's zoom in a little bit so you can actually see. We have number 1, Bitcoin, with a market cap of $1 trillion. We have Ethereum with a market cap of $208 billion. Binance with $42 billion. And in 4th place, Tether with $40 billion. And in 5th place, Cardano with $38 billion market cap. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to be looking at the leadership of Ethereum, who is Vitalik, the founder of Ethereum, the main founder. Everyone else kind of left, started off their own projects. Cardano, which is Charles Hoskinson, And we'll try to look at other coins as well. We want to make sure that we have a diverse understanding of things. So let's look at Vitalik's understanding.
If you're
Vitalik's definition of money. This is a good way to kind of understand how he thinks. What is money according to Vitalik Buterin? Alright, I had to check something.
And it's also useful for denominating future payments. A unit of account.
Okay, let's start.
So let's ask the high philosophical question is about money.
Yeah.
What at the highest level is money? What is money?
It's a kind of game, and it's a game where we have points, and if you have points, there's this one move where you can reduce your points by a number and increase someone else's points by the same number, and these.
So it's a fair game, hopefully.
Well, it's one kind of fair game. Like, for example, you can have other kinds of fair games. Like, you could have a game where if I give someone a point and you give someone a point, then instead of that person getting 2 points, that person gets 4 points, and that's also fair. But money is easy to kind of set up, and it serves a lot of useful functions, and so it kind of just survives in society as a meme for thousands of years.
It's useful for the storage of wealth. It's useful for the exchange of value.
And it's also useful for denominating future payments. A unit of account.
A unit of account. So what, if you look at the history of money in human civilization, if you're a student of history, like how has its role or just the mechanisms of money changed over time in your view? Even if we just look at the 20th century or before, and then leading up to cryptocurrencies. That's something you think about?
Yeah, and I think the big thing in the 20th century is we saw a lot more intermediation, I guess. The first part is the move from adding more of different kinds of banking, and then we saw the move from dollars being backed by gold to dollars being backed by gold that's only redeemable by certain people to dollars not being backed by anything, to this system where you have a bunch of free floating currencies, and then people getting bank accounts, and then those things becoming electronic, people getting accounts with payment processors that have bank accounts. So
what do you make of that? That's such a fascinating philosophical idea that money might not be backed by anything. What is that fascinating to you, that money can exist without being backed by something physical?
It definitely is.
What do you make of that? How is that possible? Is that stable? If you look at the future of human civilization, is it possible to have money at the large scale at such a hugely productive and rich societies be able to operate successfully without money being backed by anything physical?
I feel like the interesting thing about the 21st century especially is that a lot of the important, valuable things are not backed by anything. If you look at tech companies, for example, something like Twitter,
yes.
Right? You could theoretically imagine that if all of the employees wanted to, they could kind of come together, they would quit, and start working on Twitter 2.0. And then the value of and just kind of build the exact same product, or possibly build a better product, and then just kind of continue on from there. And the original Twitter would kind of just not have people left anymore, right? There is theoretically kind of code and IP that's owned by the company, but in reality, good programmers could probably rewrite all that stuff in 3 months. So the reason why the thing has value is just kind of network effects and coordination problems, right?
Network effect and coordination. So I'm trying to get a good understanding of this. What is money according to the Vitalik Buterin? Not backed by anything. A game. I think this is kind of similar to what Charles Hoskinson is saying. I think they both have an agreement to what money is. and how, especially fiat. Let's look at what Charles Hoskinson says about money.
$1 trillion of value has been created by tokens living in magic internet money in the sky. $1 trillion. I've been around so long to remember when they were worth $1 and Bitcoin's market cap was $100 million. And we were like, wow, this is incredible. And then suddenly it went to $1 billion and we couldn't believe it. It was impossible to have a capitalization that high. Is there any real material difference from that to $1 trillion? No. It's all numbers. It's all made up. Fiat's made up. Money doesn't exist. It's a human concept. People exist. Social interactions exist. Kindness exists. These are concepts that matter far more. Money is a necessary evil that we created in order to make society work. And so far it's been okay. But then we've convinced a bunch of people that that's the point of life. And you know what? It's a guaranteed way to be miserable and die miserable if you believe that.
So the whole fundamental structure of his argument here, let me just switch things up a little bit. Boom. Okay, so his whole fundamental structure for this argument here is he's saying that if you spend your life trying to chase money and chase wealth, because the question here was, there's nothing wrong about wanting to buy ADA in order to make money in the long term. Why do you make it sound so bad? And he's basically saying that the reason he made money off of Bitcoin was because he believed in the vision, not because that was necessarily the point of him putting his money behind Bitcoin. And so his whole thesis, which I agree with, is that you shouldn't chase money. It doesn't exist. That's what he's saying. And let's compare this to Vitalik's. I'm trying to get a good understanding of what his argument here is. It's not really an argument, but what he's trying to say, basically.
Like these employees in reality aren't going to switch all at once, and also the users aren't all going to switch at once because it's just difficult for them to switch at once. And so there's these kind of metastable and of equilibria in interactions between thousands and millions of people that are just actually quite sticky, even though if you try to kind of assume that everyone's a perfectly rational and kind of perfectly slippery spherical cow, they don't seem to exist at all.
That stickiness, do you have a sense, a grasp of the sort of the fundamental dynamic, like the physics of that stickiness? It seems to work, but
they're talking about stickiness of the network effect, bro. Get your mind out of the gutter.
And I think some of the cryptocurrency ideas kind of rely on it working.
Yeah, it's it's the sort of thing that's definitely been economically modeled a lot. Like one the kind of analogy of something similar that you often see in textbooks as like, what is a government? Like if, for example, like 80% of people in a country just like tomorrow suddenly had the idea that like the laws that are currently the laws in the government that currently is the government are just people, and some other thing is the government, and they just kind of start acting like it, then that would kind of become the new reality. And then the question is, well, what happens if kind of between 0 and 80 people or and 80% of people start believing that? And like, what is the thing you see is that if there is one of these kind of switches happening, this kind of revolution, then if you're the first person to join, then like you probably don't have the incentive to do that. But then if you're the 55th percentile person to join, then suddenly it becomes quite safe too. And so it definitely is the sort of thing that you can kind of try to analyze and understand mathematically. But one of the kind of results is that the sort of like when the switch happens definitely can be chaotic sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I kind of like lost him in the middle of it, but I think he's talking about the bigger something gets, the less of an incentive, the more of an incentive there is. No, sorry, the less of an incentive there is to hold the system as what was he said?
You have something similar that you often see in textbooks as like, what is a government? Like if, for example, like 80% of people in a country just like tomorrow suddenly had the idea that like the laws that are currently the laws in the government that currently is the government are just people, and some other thing is the government, and they just kind of start acting like it, then that would kind of become the new reality. And then the question is, well, what happens if kind of between 0 and 80 people or and 80% of people start believing that? And like, what is the thing you see is that if there is one of these kind of switches happening, this kind of revolution, then if you're the first person to join, then like you probably don't have the incentive to do that. But then if you're the 55th percentile person to join, then suddenly it becomes quite safe too. And so it's definitely is the sort of thing that you can kind of try to analyze and understand mathematically. But one of the kind of results is that the sort of like when the switch happens definitely can be chaotic sometimes.
Yeah, but still, like to me, the idea that the network effects, the fact that human beings at a scale of like millions, billions, can share, even the idea of currency, like all agree. That's just I know economics can model it. I'm a skeptic on economic, and it's like so my favorite sort of.
So they're saying that billions of people are all, which is kind of what happening with Bitcoin. Billions of people are agreeing this is something valuable, and that's kind of what happening with Ethereum too. We have $208 billion in market cap of people agreeing, and then the entire crypto market is $1.82 trillion of people agreeing these are valuable, or at least they put their money in it. So that's what I'm going to assume that they think. But what kind of, I guess the skeptic, let me click this because I like that more. I guess the skepticism here is, what are they bringing up? What are they bringing up? Is it all network effect?
Sort of field, maybe recreationally, psychology is trying to understand human behavior, and I think sometimes people just kind of pretend that they can have a grasp on human behavior, even though it's such a messy space that all the models that psychology or economics, those different perspectives on human behavior can have are difficult. It's difficult to know how much that's wishful thinking and how much it is actually getting to the core of understanding human behavior. But on that idea, what do you think is the role of money in human motivation? So,
what do you think is the role of what do you think is the role of money in human motivation? I believe that Vitalik is most likely a billionaire. I mean, what is the role of money in human motivation? Let's ask him.
Do you think money, from an economics perspective, from a psychology perspective, is core to like human desires?
Money is definitely very far from the only motivator. It is a big motivator, and it's one of the closest.
Dude, there's no way. Hold up, bro. There's no way my thumbnail is still a fish. Oh my gosh. Give me a second, y'all. We'll let him answer this question after I fix the thumbnail. Like, why is this still a fish, bro? Tell me. Like, oh my gosh. Bro, there's no way. If I look up BENJAY011, thank God. I'm like, bro. Yeah, delete this one. My fault, y'all. I'm gonna let him talk now because that had me so confused. I'm like, there's no way this fish is the thumbnail of my video, of my live stream about Ethereum.
Behavior. But on that idea, what do you think is the role of money in human motivation? So do you think money from an economics perspective, from a psychology perspective, is core to like human desires?
Money is definitely very far from the only motivator. It is a big motivator, and it's one of the closest things you have to a universal motivator. Like, because ultimately, in like almost any person in the world, if you ask them to do something, like they'll be more inclined to do it if you also offer offer them money, right? And that's like, there's definitely many cases where people will do things other than things that maximize how much money they have, and that happens all the time. But like, though a lot of those other things are kind of much more specific to and of who that person is and of what their situation is, the relationship between the motive and the action, and these other things.
What do you think is the interplay of the other motivator from like Nietzsche perspective is power? Do you think money equals power? Do you think those are conflicting ideas? Do you think, I mean, that's one of the ideas that decentralized currency, decentralized applications are looking at is who holds the power.
Yeah. Money is definitely a kind of power. And there's definitely people who want money because it gives them power. And then even if money doesn't seem to kind of explicitly be about money, a lot of things that people spend money on are ultimately about kind of social status of some kind. So I definitely view those two things as kind of interplaying. And then there's also money as just a way of like measuring how successful you are, like as a scoreboard, right? So this kind of gets back to the game. I mean, like if you have $4 billion, then the main benefit you get from going up, well, one of the big benefits you get from going up to $6 billion is that now instead of being below the guy who has 5, you're above the guy who has 5.
So you think money could be kind of, in the game of life, it's also a measure of self-worth. It's like how we...
It's definitely how a lot of people perceive it.
Define ourselves in the hierarchy of
and I'm
society.
not saying it's kind of a healthy thing that people define their self-worth as money, because it's definitely kind of far from a perfect indicator of like how much you value you provide to society or anything like this. But I definitely think that like, as a matter of kind of current practice, a bunch of people do feel that way.
Money as a social status, and he is pointing that out. Very interesting points from Vitalik. And what is Charles Hoskinson saying? He's also saying that money isn't important. We have 2 billionaires spreading the same message, or a similar message. Charles Hoskinson, though, is kind of focusing more on relationships and connections, and I agree with that. Now let's I want to figure out who are the leaders, the founders. This dude at the end said, "Hi Ben, hi Ben, notice me Ben." I'm ending the live stream. Bro, alright, who are the founders of Cardano? I mean, Ethereum. Because Charles did say that the founders of Ethereum split up into multiple... Who founded Ethereum? Okay, Vitalik, when he was 19. And then he had multiple people helping him. Who helped Buterin create Ethereum? Several other developers, including CEO of IOG, don't know what that is. Probably former CEO. When was this made? Oh, this is recently. Charles Hoskinson Anthony D'Oreo. All right, let's look these guys up. Who is Anthony D'Oreo? And Akasha, Mihai Alisi. Let's look up, bro. Bro, is that all y'all putting? You're not gonna tell me the other 6 of them? Okay, bro. Okay. Anthony D'Oreo is a Canadian entrepreneur primarily known as co-founder of Ethereum. Focus, camera, focus. Y'all can't even see. Hold up. Focus, camera. Anthony D'Oreo is a Canadian entrepreneur primarily known as a co-founder of Ethereum. D'Oreo is the founder and CEO of the blockchain company Decentral and the associated Jax wallet. He's Canadian. What does this tell me about him? Oh, I could add him on LinkedIn, y'all. We should get Anthony D'Oreo on the Anthony D'Oreo on the channel. Now let's look up. I'm bored. I want to look up input output. Excuse me. Thank you. IOHK. This is one of the companies that work on Cardano. And right now we are gonna be... This shit's gonna break my computer. Let's look into their team, because I didn't get to go into detail on my video. So we have 2 founders here. I wasn't aware of that. CEO, which is Charles Hoskinson. I gotta add... Oh, he doesn't have a LinkedIn. Damn it! Jeremy Wood. I'm gonna add all these people, bro. Anyway. Let's look specifically at... development. Oh, this is a lot of branches. This guy doesn't have a profile, neither does he. IOHK, founders, executives, research, development, formal methods, quality assurance, service reliability, technical support, professional services, business development, product management, business analysis, project management, education. Yo, let me zoom in a little bit. Content. I did not realize this company was this big. Design, web development, product marketing, finance, human resources, talent, resourcing. Let's look specifically at Cardano instead of IOHK. Let's look up... Well, this is a good video to, look at.
Native multi-assets have arrived, but how do they work and why are they a big deal?
I don't speak Japanese, bro.
Let me explain. First thing I want to do is explain how Ethereum tokens work, because as of now, it is the most used platform for issuing crypto tokens. The way Ethereum tokens are issued is like this. You've got the Ethereum blockchain, then through a custom-coded smart contract, you can issue a non-native token. This token won't have all the advantages of Ethereum, and you have to pay for smart contract execution every time you move your token. This is why people complain about Ethereum fees being so high. It's not very efficient, and it leaves the door open for human error when coding smart contracts. Now with Cardano, when tokens are issued on the blockchain, they don't require smart contracts, which means 1, no custom code, which has its own cost because if you can't code yourself, you'll need to hire someone to do that. But also, no smart contract fees to talk to the blockchain. In addition to lower costs, tokens issued on Cardano will receive the full benefits of the Cardano blockchain, such as the same level of safety and security as ADA itself, and eventually a governance system as it rolls out. So let's take a quick look at how native tokens look inside the dataless wallet. This is your dataless wallet right here with ADA inside it. With only ADA inside this wallet, it will look like this, with a space below where native tokens will appear. Once you've received native tokens, they will appear right here. Each token will have some data on it, along with more information as you click on the fingerprint. Quick note, ADA does not have a fingerprint, so if you ever see ADA show up with a fingerprint, it's fake. When it comes to sending and receiving, any wallet address can be used to send and receive both ADA and native tokens. That keeps things simple and you can never mess it up. And when it comes to making transactions, you can send multiple tokens in a single transaction, saving you on multiple transaction fees if you have to move multiple tokens to the same address. As of today, March 1st, native tokens are live on the Cardano mainnet, but you won't see them in your Daedalus wallet just yet. Daedalus Flight was just released today, and that is the testing ground where we will continue to monitor things and make sure that everything is working correctly, and then in the following weeks, an updated Daedalus wallet for the mainnet will be released. Okay, so that's pretty cool, but what about forging tokens? How do I make tokens? How does that work? As of today, fungible and non-fungible tokens can be forged using the CLI interface. This does require some technical knowledge, so if that's not you, you'll have to wait. But that's only temporary, because in the coming weeks, a user-friendly interface will become available that will make creating fungible tokens more accessible to the average Joe. This interface,
I was about to say, because this interface was like complicated as a I was looking at this, I'm like, what am I seeing? Look at that, bro. Like, what?
wallet just yet. Daedalus Flight was just released today. Forging tokens. How do I make tokens? How does that work? As of today, fungible and non-fungible tokens can be forged using the CLI interface. This does require some technical knowledge, so if that's not you, you'll have to wait. But that's only temporary, because in the coming weeks, a user-friendly interface will become available that will make creating fungible tokens more accessible to the average Joe. This interface will only be for fungible tokens at launch, while NFTs can still be created through the CLI, with support for NFTs coming later on. Today is a big day in Cardano history. It's the biggest milestone since the launch of Shelley back in July 2020. And the next stop will be full integration of Plutus Core, which brings smart contracts online, making 2021 most definitely the year of Cardano.
Y'all hear that, bro? Plutus, smart contracts on Cardano. Cardano. I need to stop saying. Is this guy saying Cardano?
Making 2021 most definitely the year of Cardano.
Dislike. Alright, bro. Very interesting, very interesting. I still need to get a deeper understanding of... He did say that Ethereum blockchain was being used. If you use the Ethereum blockchain to put your tokens, you don't need a smart contract. But now he's saying that smart contracts will be available, which I heard it was like around August. But let's just look in Cardano in general, to be honest, because I believe that, bro, why is this the language? Yo, y'all see my problem, bro? Why is this a language? Principal motivi per cui Cardano. Bro, give me English. The thing is, this isn't even the original title for all of the videos. It just thinks that I don't even know what country that is. Oh my gosh. I can't read any of these titles, bro. Yo, who did this? YouTube. Anyway, I was gonna say, drink your water, bruh. When's the last time you drank water? You know what I mean? This guy is saying don't buy Cardano. I think it's very interesting. Oh, I definitely want to get into looking into Lemonade insurance, by the way. If you want to subscribe, you know, you can witness that. This guy's saying don't buy Cardano. Let's see why.
Do not buy Cardano. No, there's no sneaky clickbait tag like don't buy Cardano if you don't want to get rich. In this video, I want to cover off some of the most common criticisms leveled against Cardano and my thoughts on those criticisms. These are literally the most frequently touted reasons by Cardano critics that they bring up to not buy Cardano. And before you go and hit the comment section saying, Larky's points of view about your investment. So that's what we're going to be doing just now. Okay, so let's get into this topic. These are the top reasons to not buy Cardano. The first is that Cardano is overvalued. It's worth around, give or take a few billion, $40 billion at the moment, with almost no functional applications currently built on the chain. The main use case for Cardano right now is staking. And I know, the market's always forward-looking, and the current price is based off of anticipated future value. But more than that, I think if we're going to be honest here, the current price of Cardano is riding pretty high on hype versus actual demand for the token based on utility and necessity by developers and users and stuff like that. The fundamental economics that will drive demand in the future are really not there right now. And look, there's not actually anything wrong or abnormal about this. This is pretty common to see. We see it happen quite a lot at different assets, where an asset's price will pump much higher than its value should be based off of where it currently is, simply on the back of strong enthusiasm from supporters and, of course, future trajectory predictions. And just because Cardano is overvalued right now does not mean that the price is going to go down dramatically or something like that. In fact, quite the opposite is likely to happen. The higher the market cap, the more serious of an investment it is in the eyes of many investors, making the market cap go even higher and becoming even more serious. The second...
Yeah, he doesn't seem like he's against Cardano. He's just listing off arguments against Cardano for that many people are making. But I see what he's saying, what he's saying. If you're gonna be buying at the peak, which Cardano is pretty close to, you better believe in it long term, because it's there's no guarantee that it's not gonna go down in the short term, which I don't think it will. Even it might plateau a little bit for a couple of months, not a couple of months, but a week at a time, 2 weeks at a time, since crypto is so volatile.
Reason frequently touted to not buy Cardano is that nothing is built on Cardano. Well, what of this claim? First off, it's not technically true, although it's technically close to being true, as there are actually a few things built on Cardano right now, but realistically, there is no ecosystem to speak of right now for Cardano, so this criticism is actually true. But it's also an incredibly dishonest critique of Cardano, in my opinion, because it is hard to have an ecosystem when there's no smart contract functionality. It's like saying, hey man, that car you're building is really, really slow, but you still haven't actually put the engine into the car, so of course it's slow. It can't even go yet. So this is kind of something to think of when you're looking at Cardano today. It hasn't really opened the floodgates for its ecosystem. Right now, at this time, smart contracts are coming. The testnet is due in late April. Smart contracts are then scheduled to come on the mainnet around August, and assuming, of course, that there are no delays and that this timeline is kept to, and it's tech, delays can happen, but then we should see a full...
I don't think there's going to be delays. I really think that, I trust that the team is going to be strict about it, that all the tests are going to be fully done well. I know that sounds obvious, like, oh, done well, what does that even mean, Ben? But I kind of trust that promise by Charles versus Vitalik's promise about layer 2 solution Ethereum, which is basically the update that was supposed to fix all these fees, these transaction fees for Ethereum, which is preventing a lot of people from getting into NFTs in Ethereum and all the other uses that are in Ethereum because the transaction fees are so high. Like, imagine you trying to buy some coffee and it costs $50. Anyway,
functional ecosystem launch.
Every time I look away from the camera, it loses focus.
Launching on Cardano in Q3 of this year, which is obviously very exciting. Q4, I guess, if there are some delays that come in. Then if all this happens by Q1 2022, that whole nothing is being built on Cardano conversation, we don't really need to be having that anymore, because things will be built on Cardano, or at least they will be able to be built on Cardano.
Here's a third argument: Cardano moving too slow. I actually want to make my case here. Cardano's let me see, notifications. Oh. Anyway, Cardano moving too slow. let's look at their Cardano roadmap and make my decision there. I think this is actually an advantage, Cardano moving too slow, and here's why. The first movers in the crypto space, Bitcoin. What happened from there? People found that there wasn't much of a use for Bitcoin, and there was a whole bunch of problems with it. So they went on, so Vitalik founded Ethereum, and there came smart contracts. And then what happened? There was a whole array of problems about, transaction fees, about scalability, about governance, which, Voltaire, governance. Final pieces required for the Cardano network to become a self-sustaining system. Okay, well, anyway, the problem with Ethereum was the decision making, I believe, which led to a lot of forks and stuff like that. But yeah, so the Bitcoin, first mover, obviously, no other cryptocurrency before that. There was some type of financial, there wasn't blockchain technology before Bitcoin. There was some other type of technology that was online and digital, but it wasn't blockchain. So what I'm trying to get at is the reason Cardano is moving slow, and I've mentioned the point a few times now. I've heard it from somebody else. They phrased it like this: Cardano is approaching cryptocurrency and their mission and their vision and this project like scientists and astronauts approaching a landing on the moon. And the reason this is so important, like, you literally can see their entire roadmap. They did this, the Byron Age. They're doing this, the 31st, it'll be fully launched, fully decentralized, the most decentralized cryptocurrency from my understanding, which is very important to many people in the cryptocurrency space. Smart contracts, they announced the dates, and I'm kind of trusting that because they haven't had a history of missing, and because they've been moving slow, versus the cryptocurrency, the average cryptocurrency person who wants things to move fast. What's a basic principle of business is under promise and overvalue, right? And that's what I believe they're doing.
The third big criticism of Cardano is that it's too slow in its development. And it's true. Cardano is moving very, very slowly, especially for a crypto project. Some people like to point out the old rabbit and turtle parable, which could be true if it was only Cardano and Ethereum that we're speaking about here. But since Cardano launched, many other blockchains have also launched and come to life. It's not a two-horse race. There's dozens of horses. Elrond, for example, technically very robust, has a huge and confirmed ecosystem right now. It was actually launched a year after Cardano and has delivered much more in much less time. Avalanche, same story, except that Avalanche was launched in 2020. Come on. And it fulfills also some very interesting technological use cases and use cases looking at more institutional use cases that Cardano is also looking at. And lots of other examples too, beyond those two blockchains. I understand why Cardano is taking its time. They're using the peer-reviewed academic approach. They want to get things right from the get-go. They want to build the best possible blockchain. And I think that when Cardano does release smart contracts on the mainnet later this year, it's going to be beautiful. Beautiful. We're going to look at that and go, it's such a beautiful blockchain. The best blockchain. It's great. It's great. But this is an incredibly fast-paced industry. And which projects will capture the most market share long-term, still very, very uncertain. Cardano does have a good...
My fault, y'all. I'm trying to make the camera focus on my eyeballs. So he's saying that... He does have a point. I haven't even looked at the competition besides Ethereum. Like, I haven't looked at Avalanche. I haven't looked at... What was the other one he mentioned?
Or in much less time. Confirmed ecosystem right now.
It was
technically
Elrond.
very robust, has a huge and confirmed ecosystem here. Oh, it's going to be beautiful. Beautiful. We're going to look at that and go, oh, it's such a beautiful blockchain. The best blockchain. It's great. It's great. But this is an incredibly fast-paced industry. And which projects will capture the most market share long term, still very, very uncertain. Cardano does have a good chance to get a good slice of that pie, but the competition, they're smart, they're well funded, there's a lot of them, and they're very, very hungry for market share because here is the deal. It doesn't matter how good your blockchain is unless you get people to actually use your blockchain. Now, to be fair, Cardano does have a massive and a very, very enthusiastic community, so that's a big base of users ready and willing to come in and use applications on Cardano from day one when smart contracts launch. So that shouldn't be an issue for Cardano to find users there and waiting. But the reality is that in crypto, things can change real fast, and the big names of today can be forgotten about quite quickly. That doesn't just apply to Cardano, but really to every single blockchain that you know the name of. At the end of the day, money flows are based on self-interest. Users will go where the money is. If Cardano can deliver such an ecosystem that makes people money, users will come, developers will come. I personally think that Cardano will prove the haters wrong this year and that they will deliver a powerful and interesting blockchain that will become a big part of the cryptocurrency ecosystem with all its applications and smart contracts and all this stuff. So that's, don't count Cardano out by any means. But also keep in mind that it will simply be a piece of the bigger picture of the cryptoverse. One network, many chains. Cardano will not achieve 100% market share. So they'll get their slice of the pie, though. Your question for today: do you think that Cardano is a buy right now, or do you think that another blockchain is coming up to steal the spotlight from Cardano? And if so, which blockchain is that going to be? Let me know down below in the comment section.
Hey, I like this guy. I'm gonna give him a like. Lark Davis. Nice. With that being said, y'all, I think that I'm gonna zoom in a little bit, punch in a little bit. Alright, so I wish this camera would focus. This is some bull. Come on, bro. I'm trying to talk to the people. Anyway, his last point, he did bring up some good points, y'all. I haven't looked at Avalanche. I haven't looked at Enrod, and maybe that's something we can do tomorrow if you'd like to stick around. Definitely am getting more interested by the day, by the minute. Every time I look into Cardano, there's always something more to learn, bro. There's endless amounts. There's always something to learn. So tomorrow I'm gonna be looking at the competition of Cardano, and who knows what will happen. With that being said, thank you so much for watching.